Hello, once again, golf fanatics. Shout out to Billy Ho's Flophouse Discord. We're back for another week of PGA preview and DraftKings first look. The Amex, really tough tournament. I really didn't realize how robust it was. I always kind of forget with the three courses and the 156 players. I mean, feels and the fact that the weather was so calm and it played so easy the first 3 days. Now today everybody has to play the hard stadium course, and it's a struggle bus for some. So if you saw your guy go out on like Thursday, like my dude Joe Highsmith, and shoot four over or something on the stadium course, and then fire off 15 under the next 2 days to make the cut and be in contention, only to come out on Sunday and go another 4 or 5 over and lose you all your points, then there you go. But anyway, it turned out after I shot the video last week, I was wrong on a few things, especially the South course. I really didn't think it was going to turn into be so difficult with the greens being harder to put on, and they actually made them bigger so they can put pin placements in harder places to find. So I'm sure they really did a number on them today. But so don't be expecting guys to go ham today. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 under would be a really good score today. But anyway, I was on both Sepp Straka and Charlie Hoffman, so hopefully that will help me with my profitabilities. But anyway, we got multiple courses to go over once again this week. It's a little more organized this time. We'll do a little brief flyover, check out a few things. Then we'll jump over to our sponsors, Fantasy National, look at some stats, talk DFS plays. We're going to have some showdown strategy, obviously. Stick around. I'll probably bring up a few sleepers or some players toward the end. Maybe we'll go old school dudes that could pop instead of sleepers. But make sure you're subscribed to the channel, completely free. Smashing that like while you're at it. Support the channel by joining the contest. If you play DFS, DraftKings, PGA, then just join the contest. It's easy to find. I'll send you an invite. I usually post it on my X account, and it's usually posted in the link to the video. So, if nothing else, note that this tournament starts on Wednesday, as to not compete with the NFL Championship weekend on Sunday. Very savvy move, which leads me to another hot take, if you want to call it that. I want the PGA to start changing around these days. Do a Wednesday through Saturday tournament from time to time, especially when you have big NFL weekends or something like that. Also, you have two holidays that are major: Labor Day, Memorial Day, and you usually don't have golf tournaments on both those weekends. Not so much Labor Day, because I don't really know what we're working with as far as the FedEx Cup, but you might be at Eastlake that week, and regardless, just do it anyway. It'd be fun to finish on a Monday, especially a holiday that everybody in the United States has off. So Memorial Day is a big day, Monday. I mean, I don't know why you would get the same ratings. I think it might even be better. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into the golf course, Torrey Pines, featuring two courses, the North and the South. First two rounds, players alternate between those two, North and South. Then the final two rounds go exclusively to the South course, which is significantly tougher. So basically, what it amounts to when we do stuff like this is there's not enough daylight this time of year to get these players through multiple courses. They might not even finish anyway. Who knows? We'll talk about weather and other stuff because it always plays a factor here, whether it's nice or not. Wind can be gusty. It can be rainy. It can be nasty sometimes. La Jolla, California. But the course architect is none other than Massive Dynamics CEO William Bell from the television show Fringe, if anybody gets that reference. But anyway, his name's William Bell, is the architect. So I just thought that was kind of funny when I saw that. Anyway, North Course, shorter, more forgiving, where you need to score, 2,200 and change, par 72, wide fairways, less penal rough, receptive greens. So much flatter, less coastal, all that helps. 6,000 square foot, nice size bent grass greens, So a little smoother putting going on over at the North Course. Then the South Course is the longest course, might be the longest they play all year. It's 7,700 and change in its own right, par 72. Lots of long par fours, 400 to 450, uh, things of that nature. Thick Kikuyu rough, firm, 5,000 square feet. POA Anua greens. I think it might have some overseed. Don't quote me on that, but definitely demanding some precision off the tee. It is tee to green all day with this course. I usually emphasize that a lot more here because it's what it is. Lots of greens can be missed with the length of the shots. We'll go over that when we get to Fantasy National. Now, I don't know if it matters to you, but the director of agronomy said this winter it's been the driest he's seen in 9 years, which produced a lot more rounds played, which is a lot more wear and tear on the golf course, a very public golf course, if you didn't know. Uh, Wear and tear on POA greens matters toward the end of the day because they can roll them and get them all nice. But as the sun shines and the foot traffic goes, those greens get tore up, making putting more difficult. So a little bit hairy on the greens in the afternoon. Keep that in mind. Uh, so now let's go ahead and jump over as I show you the field. We got 20 of the top 50 world golf rankings playing this week, and a few guys got ties to the area. Normally we'd be talking about Xander and some people like that, but they're not playing in this weaker event. It's not a full field or it's not a elevated, so they need a week off. But like guys like Charlie Hoffman with the high school locally, JJ Spahn's local, Michael Kim's local, things like that. So you can go Google it and find out who you have. So let's jump in and see what we got. So just to polish off what I was referring to between the North and the South green, and we'll get into Showdown Strategy in a second. But here's the North course. You can see it starts off pretty tough with the three of the five toughest holes, but then it softens up on you toward the turn. You even got back-to-back par fives right here. Nice short par four. So we'll go on down the line here. Does finish with the toughest hole, but the previous one it gives you the easiest. So it kind of like soft pedals you into the clubhouse there. So you can see the amount of birdies that can be made. Everything in green, big 4%. 525 is a very short par five, similar to what we saw at Amex on like La Quinta, things of that nature. Think La Quinta esque or La Quinta, a little bit harder La Quinta maybe. But guys are going to shoot 7 under on this golf course. You need to go low. So that in that case, you struggle with the South course. You can still make the cut and play the weekend. So speaking of South course, you can see a lot less highlighted green. Of course, you're going to get your standard par fives, but you can see the birdie rate dropped significantly. 615 yards, only 30% birdie rate, 42%, 564. Then you have 621, huge. That's where you see the length of this course being almost 7,800 yards when you got a couple of 600-yard par fours. I want to say they're going to play somewhat downwind if there's any wind blowing at all, off the top of my head, because this course is more coastal, as you saw by the flyover. So that's just kind of a brief look. Let's get over to the tournament history. As you can see, the type of players we like here, big hitters that can dial it in. Max Homa, currently struggling, but he's won this tournament before. Tony Finau, obviously some big finishes here as well. This was one that he can win, most def. Sung Jae's had some good runs. Luke List won here. Willie Z is another good candidate for a win bet. I like Hideki, even though he tore up Century and he can go low. I normally like him on these types of courses where he's got the little bent grass putting and putting's a little tougher, but it's evens the playing field with the POA, and it's difficult courses where he could ball strike it better than anybody. Things of that nature. You can see the stars where I started highlighting some players. Keegan's a prototypical guy for this golf course. Morikawa, good grinder. You don't have to be a bomber to get it done. I started Thagala because think he might be interesting. Pendrith is going to be interesting here. And as you go on down, you got some of the newer guys that haven't played it as much, like Knapp and Hogard, guys that top five last year that'll probably be worth a look. Jaeger's playing a lot better golf now. You can see he gets it done. And Ludwig Oberg is in the house. So this is definitely a course he could thrive on. He finished T9 in his debut last year. And that's Kevin Yu. I mentioned him as a sleeper last week. He had a T6. So he's an interesting guy. Charlie Hoffman, great week this week. Hopefully, I hate to root against the guy, but if he wins, I'm going to be so pissed I didn't bet him because people were talking him up about 400 to 1 or something. I forget what the insane odds were, but I just kind of put it out of my mind and forgot about it. I was just going to put a couple dollars on him just for shits and giggles, and I forgot. So I will be paying the price for that if he comes through somehow. But anyway, that's your just kind of a brief look at your course history. Jumping over here to the last 24 rounds. This is my Torrey Pines Farmers Model. I'm keeping it fairly simple. Um, what I did want to do is, since we're going through the courses and breakdown and whatnot, I'm going to go back over to the North Course and we're going to do a little showdown strategy right now. So let's knock that out. Step one, all in on the North Course. Do not mess with the South Course whatsoever. Just go all six guys. Typically, you want to play AM wave players because of the softer morning conditions. So that's typical showdown strategy in most weeks, even without a weather wave stack. So keep an eye on the wind and what it's doing. The early looks is there's maybe some more wind over the weekend, but between now and next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So be on the lookout. Start looking Wednesday morning instead of Thursday. Step two, stack guys going off the number one tee on the North Course because you have two different opportunities to get that three birdie streak. So it starts right here with hole number 4, where you have a 13%, not great, but then you have a par 5, and you have a doable par 4, 17%, and then hole number 7 is an easy 34%er. So you have a 4-hole stretch to where you could string together uh, three birdies, or if you don't get it done there, then you have 9, which is your really best chance because you have back-to-back par 5s with 9 and 10. Then you have an extremely short par 4, 339. So you have a 4-hole stretch, 3-hole stretch there that you could easily birdie. I mean, you should be birdieing 9 and 10. And then all you have to do is knock out that one birdie. Or if you somehow knock one stiff on the 8th hole, and then you're rocking going right into it with a birdie. So that's always a good thing. And obviously you have to watch the wind, but in a lesser known way, you also have the dreaded marine layer. And the marine layer is basically like this in a nutshell. Cold ocean water mixed with the warm air above, clouds formation, morning fog. It rolls in to the golf course. Sometimes, depending on the time of day it rolls through, it can last up till 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And if it's dense enough, it's going to delay tee times. So that could put a damper on your strategy there alone. By if there's a 2-hour delay on Wednesday or Thursday for tee off. So damp course, soft course, when it's marine layer, less rollout off the tee, but you still get more receptive greens. But it's also a little colder in the AM, so the ball's not going to travel as far. So all these can affect your strategy. Now let's go back to the shift focus back to the SC course, and I wanted to show you just the general stats from the top finishers. You can see approach is always going to be important. Ball striking, tee to green game is paramount here. Around the green game's huge too. This is just a complete game. Fairways gained, all the little things, bogey avoidance, double avoidance, all that kind of stuff. Approach shot. Here's your distribution. So you can see not so much of a wedge fest, but you can see the length of the course will cause you to hit longer irons. 200 plus. You'll hit 200 plus, obviously, from the par 5s on your second shot, but you can hit 200 plus on some of these long par 5s, or par 4s, I should say. 450 to 500, 6 of them right there. So you can see the pro shot distribution. Then you have driving accuracy way down. Distance is up. here because you have to hit it farther. So that's just kind of what it amounts to. Now I wanted to get into the model, and here is our model ranking out as such. I love tee to green, and then you got some driving distance, approach, fairways gained, ball striking. Then there's your long distance proximity, ops gained, and then your standard scoring from your points perspective, DraftKings and whatnot. And here's the top 10 in the model. Luke Clanton's always going to rank out pretty well, but he's still not a guy that I'll be looking to play. Kitayama is. Gary Woodland maybe back ish. Who knows? JJ Spawn always getting it done. He's playing. He's having another good week. There's Charlie Hoffman. Obviously, he's striking it well. You got Pendrith, Decky. I'll probably start Decky to keep an eye on him. Uh, Maybe Messner. You can see how well he ranks because he's going to be probably a low 7K guy, mid 7K guy, maybe. Johnny Vegas sucked this week. Just Johnny Vegas is just a guy who's so volatile you can't trust him. Until he starts showing me some form, I think he is going on the no-fly list. There's Oberg, 12th in the model. The mixed condition model rank is different. I changed things up. So I wanted to share that as well. So let's go over to edit MCM. And this is the mixed condition model. I went last 50 rounds. I just shortened it to 2 months just for opportunities gained. That's kind of a recent form thing. Then I went moderate to windy AF for approach, last 24 rounds, just in case we do get a little bit of breeze kicking up. Then you got your last 12 for driving distance, DK points, birdie or better gained. That's the last 4 years at Torrey Pines South. I thought that was kind of just a good jumping off point. I'll probably tinker a little bit more with that, but that's what it looks like, and that's how it results. And you can see who ranks out in the mixed condition model, one Justin Rose. So he's just always going to be good. Him, Homa, Woodland, M, List. You can see the usual suspects. Tony Finau, Austin Eckroat. I like to see that name. He's 18th in the model as well. Eckroat's a guy who's won on the tour before. Then you got Morikawa. He'll probably be popular, but he'll be 5 digits. He'll be 10K plus easily. Then Willie Z, he's going to be, but he's not modeling out all that great. That's kind of weird because I thought he was really kind of playing pretty good. Then you got Lowry, Keegan, a whole bunch of guys, Hodges, Ben Griffin. I mean, I could go down this list for days, be honest with you. But there was a few guys that I wanted to discuss just off guys with good history, kind of like those old school guys. Like Jason Day is going to get play this week. So because he's in the top 5 competing and he's playing well, people like him. I usually don't play him at all. So I'm really going to be conflicted on that this week. So coming up on that, I wanted to look at Jason. Oh, there he is. Jason Day's stats. So missed the cut last year at Farmers, but this is his course history. He's got single digits all the way down, 2 wins, a second. So you can see how really good he is at this golf course. And then if you go and you blank out and see what his recent form is, I mean, he played the Century. That was off the a long layoff from the BMW. So he was probably just out there to knock the rust off, to be perfectly honest with you. So I feel pretty good about his chances. He is tearing it up with the irons this week. His approach, I think on the stadium course alone, he's gained like almost 3 strokes on approach to the field, gained over a stroke on off the tee. So if he's striping it like that off the tee and on approach with his short game and ability to putt, he's going to be a dangerous guy and probably a popular one and done play. But there's the other guy, Gary Woodland, not so good at the Farmers, but he is modeling out very well. I'll probably wait and see Gary for next week. Or not, I can't remember. Super Bowl weekend, whatever Waste Management Phoenix Open is. Him and Charlie Hoffman both. I don't know that I'll play Charlie Hoffman at this golf course. It's a long golf course. If he wins this week, he'll probably not play next week. I don't know about Charlie. But guys like Luke List, Justin Rose shouldn't get much play, but they are guys that you could consider. Gary Woodland, solid fall, great a couple of weeks ago on approach, back-to-back there, 16th at Sony, gaining over 4 on approach. His putting is just abysmal sometimes, though. So I'll probably, like I said, I'll probably wait on him. I've got over 20 guys starred here going down the list. So I'll talk about a couple of guys down here. Joey Bramlett bombs it off the tee, struggles with the putter, but even playing field here. He can drive it with the best of them, but his tee to green game is really good. He gets lots of opportunities, so that's always a good thing. Then Sung Jae will be a tough call after you saw how bad he was. Although he came back and played better the next couple of days after the horrible first day. Then you got guys like Lowry. Lowry's a great guy that normally doesn't play on the West Coast, but here we have him, so we'll see what he's got. Um, Down the way, I starred Hogard because he showed up 16th in the mixed condition. I want to say he's pretty decent in the wind, but he did finish really high here last time. Um, Yep, there you go. Pretty decent in the wind. So we haven't seen him since Wyndham, which is kind of crazy. But I wanted to see. Okay, so that was his debut, the second, and how he did it was just good all around tee to green game. You can see that, but putting around the green and putting was pretty good too. So Nikolai Hogard, definitely a guy that I will have some interest in. Further down the line, Jaeger bombs, maybe. Excuse me. Rose, I circled. Thomas Detry, another guy who's kind of consistent. There's Willie Z. You can see none of these guys model very well at all because their recent form we haven't seen them. It's but I think that's it for the guys that I wanted to talk about today. One and done. This is not a signature event, so I wouldn't get too cute. But guys like Jason Day, worth using because when are you going to use Jason Day again? That's what you have to consider. When am I going to use this guy again? Or would I ever use this guy again? I mean, you don't want to use Hideki because you could use him at Masters. You could use him at Waste Management. You could use him at Pebble next month for the signature. So too many options there for Decky. Too many options there for Morikawa. Uh, Finau, yeah, you could save him for the 3M or something like that, but you could probably drop him here if you wanted to, just to take a shot that he doesn't win any signatures or majors. So that's always a thing. But a guy like Eckroat wouldn't be a horrible call. A guy like Willie Z wouldn't be a horrible call either, because he's a guy that you could get away with not using because he's just really coming back off that back injury so much. Keegan, another guy. So anyway, that'll cover you this week for the tournament in California, Torrey Pines. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Until next time, see you soon.